This podcast is brought to you by Al Jazeera.
He met her in the fall. He took her to a movie. And when they done it all, he took her to a movie.
Hello and welcome to this special edition of the Fabulous Picture Show. I'm Amanda Palmer and I'm coming to you from Doha, Qatar. For the next half hour, I'm going to be telling you all about the first ever Doha Tribeca Film Festival, which is being held here at the stunning Museum of Islamic Art between October 29 and November 1st. And if you can't be here, this is what you're missing.
तुम पिक्चर दिखाने वाले हो?
थ्रिलर है, रोमांस, कॉमेडी, ट्रेजेडी, सब कुछ है.
For 4 filmtastic days, Doha will be rocking.
Yes.
So please come and knock it. And later, who wants to be Amira Naya? Well, most of Tinseltown.
Hollywood often comes to me because they know I have a certain cinematic style.
And her latest, Amelia, will open the festival. Also on the show,
1. Hamad Go. 2.
how our DTFF workshops help first-time filmmakers to furnish their minds.
I can't wait for the future of filmmaking in Qatar.
Now, about 3 years ago, not long after I created this program, The Fabulous Picture Show, Qatar's Sheikha Mayasa bin Hamad bin Khalifa Al Thani told me about her brilliant idea to bring an international film festival here to Doha. Well, it started an incredible journey, and this is where it's taken us.
Qatar is one of the world's most modern, prosperous countries. And with almost 70% of the region's inhabitants under 29 years old, Sheikha Mayasa wanted a film festival for this emerging populace to express their many voices.
Film is a diplomatic language where anybody can interact. Using technology today, it doesn't prevent anybody from expressing their thoughts and opinions.
Sheikha asked Al Jazeera's Amanda Palmer, now the festival's executive director,
High-caliber international films so we can change the way people go to cinemas.
to help find a cultural partner who shared Qatar's values of education and community.
A large part of our population we know are youthful, so we want to say to them this film festival is unashamedly for you. But at the same time, we have a whole philosophy of being inclusive.
They found it in New York's renowned Tribeca Film Festival.
Being here now at this time in history is something very, very special. Special, as we all know, because of stereotypical misconceptions and misperceptions of our Muslim brothers and sisters.
With any new festival, the first question is why? The fact that you have a Doha Tribeca, it has such a strong brand with Tribeca, and yet it's trying to maintain a strong kind of local connection.
Tribeca's managing director, Maggie Kim,
To enter to the cinema, they'd have to enter around.
From there.
joined Palmer in Doha to build a team from more than 20 countries, along with Qatari nationals.
Is this actually the first day you've ever come to work, ever?
My officially first day of work. No, but I've done internship.
And they signed up more than 300 volunteers the first week,
So you want a little hands-on experience.
with 1,200 now and counting.
Everyone has talent. We just have to bring it out.
And DTFF has already launched its all-year-round educational workshops to help first-time filmmakers.
Amir wants to be a filmmaker, so we figured let's just throw him into making the documentary today.
Yes. Action.
If you had told me a few years ago that something like this would happen in Doha, I would have told you you're crazy.
DTFF is also encouraging other filmmakers to bring their productions and skills to Qatar, including the sponsorship of a stunt-tastic action film.
Basically, I've spent the last half of my life trying to make Jackie Chan-style action movies.
The guys have just one day to location scout
I think location's fantastic.
It's very Mad Max. I like it.
and 3 days to shoot.
It's cool, isn't it?
Yeah.
It'll be the first martial arts short to be filmed in Qatar.
From all the places we've been and all the locations we've seen, Doha's a fantastic place to shoot an action movie.
But while there is an ambitious long-term objective for a film industry in Qatar, the focus has always been to nurture a new generation of filmmakers from Qatar and the region.
I don't want any faces. I want them from the backside.
It's his first time making a movie, but he's gonna be fine. He's very talented, this guy. He knows what he wants.
And the 1-minute movies produced by the first batch of DTFF workshops are ready to be premiered.
What did you say? Say it another.
These are first-time filmmakers, everybody. First-time filmmakers. Mohammed is 16 years old, everybody. What was it like directing a woman to do your emotions?
Actually, it was so easy working with Catherine because she knew everything. And I chose woman because I told you, like before, that woman goes through so much more than men.
For as long as I can remember, I've always been playing with the camera at home and always experimenting with things. And that's when I knew I wanted to become a filmmaker.
How long did it take to shoot this film?
This film is 1 minute, believe it or not, but it took me 8 hours to actually film. I would love to make a 90-minute film. I know that would take probably, 3 years.
I think that Qatar is really ready for big screen action. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens.
It has been always my dream to be a movie maker, and it's my first time to have a screening, you know, and for Tribeca Film Festival, come on, you know.
The shorts are incredibly strong, you know, and for first-time filmmakers, they were fantastic, and they played really well, so.
Aww.
It's fantastic. Faisal did a great job.
Thank you, thank you. Auntie Maggie.
Now, you can't imagine how difficult it is to make a 1-minute film unless you do it yourself or you see how someone else did it.
Go here, bring it back to you now.
And actually he's gonna throw it. And then this is another flash. She gets up and actually walking. This is also reverse motion.
I came up with a script and just kind of read through that script. I've rewritten that script like about 4 times. The process of like going through this workshop like yesterday and today kind of gives you a vision of what your 1-minute film can turn out to be.
Just go down and then come up and don't jump.
This is basically the first scene of my film and the last scene of my film. So we're doing it all together so we don't come back here again.
He goes inside the water with the camera, and I go, are you sure you wanna go to the water with this camera because we need to shoot more movies? But he was like, he made the decision. He said, no, this is the way we want to do it.
Well, as you can see, the challenges were difficult. We were in the water, we were outside the water. Well, I was seeing the vision in my head, what I'm actually, like after it's edited, basically. So I'm trying to run through like what I want in details. So yeah, I don't want to miss out on anything, basically.
Faisal had this amazing scene about his lead character going inside the room, and chairs and sofas are flipping over and flying in the air.
When people see my film, I hope they appreciate life and basically look forward in time, because life can be really short, you know, and you never know. So yeah, live life.
1, Hamad, go. 2, 3.
We were amazed because it worked. You know, I was sitting there, I had to pull the sofa back on me. And you know, we were like shouting from joy because it worked.
4, 5.
I didn't expect that to happen. I expect that to fail, but actually it was really good. And I think it's one of the best shots I actually did today. You don't need to cut them all. I know the best shot. Did I do a twirl there? What was the last thing here?
There's Faisal 5 on there.
For the first minute I sat down, I was like lost already, and Mekki was doing it so fast, you know, he knew his way. It's all about knowing what you're working with, and Mekki did know what he was working with.
I've never met someone so young that knew exactly what he wanted or how he wanted it.
It's going to be a mixed up thing, you know?
He was so articulate, right down to every little detail.
He's going to be remembering, he's going to walk through his life, basically. He's walking through his life.
It's very into the video art than into dramatical filmmaking. What he cares about is this issue of life or death delivered to the audience.
The memories, the ones you've loved, passions of like hobbies or whatever, right? It's what I wanted, and I loved the outcome of my film.
I think when people watch Faisal's movie, it will open something in their hearts and in their minds. When somebody makes you think about yourself, you get annoyed because sometimes you just want to live your life as simple as possible without thinking about your past and about the things that constructed your present and your future.
Join us in part 2 when we take a look at the film lineup of the Doha Tribeca Film Festival, which starts on October 29. See you after the break.
He met her in the fall.
Hello, welcome back to this FPS special on the Doha Tribeca Film Festival, which starts on October 29. Now, we are doing the most unique opening night. We're going to have a red carpet, an LED world-class red carpet that's going to take place here outside the Museum of Islamic Art. It's going to be spectacular. And over on this side, we are inviting 3,000 people from the local community to watch the opening night film Under the Stars at what we are calling the Open Air Theatre. It's going to be fantastic. And the opening night film is director Mira Naya's Amelia.
Miss Amelia Earhart, why do you want to fly?
I want to be free.
On opening night, the sky's the limit for the screening of Mira Naya's biopic about the American pilot Amelia Earhart.
I'm going to fly around the world.
It can't be done.
Well, let's change that.
Two-time Oscar winner Hilary Swank plays Earhart, who disappeared over the Pacific Ocean in 1937 while attempting to fly solo around the world.
There's more to life than being a passenger.
It's no surprise that Naya is attracted to such fearless females.
If you miss this island, you're out of fuel with 2,000 miles to go.
I understand the danger. I can handle it.
She herself has a reputation for being independent, both in Hollywood and India.
I make films, that get under my skin and don't let me go. Whether they're not always about India. I mean, they can be, and they often are. But I'm pretty much adept at, stories that are about the human condition, regardless of where they come from. I've made Vanity Fair with Reese Witherspoon.
Stay still, I beg you, or I shall never have them untangled.
Monsoon Wedding is a great film about the madness of a family getting together in Delhi for a wedding. But at the heart of it also is a dark subject of taboo, of sexual sort of incest within the family, something that is absolutely silent and unspoken.
Hi, nice Mendi, dear. She's angry, huh?
So I like to, in my films, combine things. Hollywood often comes to me to ask me to do things because they know I have a certain way of speaking and a certain flair and a certain cinematic style that they want. And I think that's what's interesting, is while I don't have to, that I keep my distinctive style. You know, I don't become just like one of many directors.
I am like Cuba, used by many, conquered by no one.
So I think that what interests me is to, tell our stories, because if we don't tell our stories, no one else will. But to tell them in a way that crosses borders, and that's what I like to do.
Amelia, Mira Naya's 12th feature, will have its Middle Eastern premiere at the Museum of Islamic Art in Doha on October 29.
Now, during the festival, we'll be showing more than 30 films from all over the world, but we always said we had a special commitment to showing films from the Middle East, and this year has been an exceptional one on the international scene for Arab cinema.
Horror hai, thriller hai, romance, comedy, tragedy, सब कुछ है.
On one level, the Doha Tribeca Film Festival will look like other major international festivals, with big features from your heavy hitters, like the Coen Brothers, Anne Fontaine, and Steven Soderbergh.
Secret Agent 0014. Why 0014? Because I'm twice as smart as 007. No.
And big new documentaries from Spike Lee,
Tear 'em up. We get a rebound, let's go.
Oliver Stone,
Tú preguntas por qué no me mataron. Me mandaron a matar. Solo que yo soy un soldado.
and Michael Moore.
I am here to make a citizen's arrest of the board of directors of AIG.
We've seen the economic meltdown, we've seen the kind of global recession. So Michael Moore now targets years of corporate excess, deregulation, greed, and tries to map out in his inimitable way how that's led to America now being in the situation it is.
We're here to get the money back for the American people. I got more bags. 10 billion probably won't fit in here.
Perhaps the most exciting aspect of any film festival is the discovery of some great new filmmakers. Like India's Dev Benegal with his delightful road movie. Or Cary Fukunaga with his thrilling drama about trans-Mexican immigrants, Sin Nombre. And R.J. Cutler with his irresistible new documentary about Vogue magazine, the September issue.
Where's the glamour? It's Vogue, okay? Please, let's...
Lift it.
But with the recent upsurge of Middle Eastern cinema on the international scene, it couldn't be a better time to focus on films from the region.
The type that remains is Elias Suleiman's kind of third part. It's the final part of his loose trilogy dealing with the Palestinian dispossession and the kind of Palestinian stories since 1948.
تبولي أنا أعمل لك إياها برغل خفيف على ذوقك.
It begins in 1948 on the day that his father's town surrendered to the Israeli army.
תודה רבה, כבוד ראש העיר. וכעת, אתה מוזמן להצטרף אלינו לתמונה על מנת להנציח את הרגע ההיסטורי הזה.
And he actually wrote his screenplay heavily inspired by his own parents' diaries of that time and then kind of leading up to the present day.
In fact, if I remember right, it was close when he started to be sick that I decided to ask him to start to write what he's telling me down.
And while it has Elias Suleiman's typical kind of moments of black humor, it's still his most personal and most heartfelt film, which makes it a fantastic film.
From Yusri Nasrallah comes Scheherazade, Tell Me a Story, a drama about women's issues in contemporary Egypt.
He's always made films which have challenged audiences and censors particularly. I mean, he often jokes that his film Mercedes, while it was a 2-hour film in Egypt, by the time it was released in Kuwait, it was a half-an-hour short film. And it's a film which did quite well, particularly for what would essentially be an art house film. Did very well at the Egyptian box office. And again, that's a hopeful sign that Egyptian audiences themselves are actually asking for more challenging material from their filmmakers.
From Tunisian director Raja Amari comes Buried Secrets.
It's very, very kind of heightened, stylistic melodrama about this family of women who...
قربك ليهم ها؟ زعما ايش بيحبوا عنا؟ ما نعرفش. هاي ادخلوا هاي.
They haven't got much money and they're kind of living there as a secret. And there is, the secrets pervades the whole film. Well, Raja is an interesting filmmaker. She's someone who has always kind of tried to push boundaries. The preoccupation with the plight of women, with the kind of issue of, and role that feminism, for example, can play, and maternity can play in contemporary Arab society.
Also featured in the festival is The Mummy. Shadi Abdul Salam's 1969 classic, digitally restored by director Martin Scorsese's World Cinema Foundation.
Film preservation, particularly Arab cinema, is hugely important. We forget that, in Egypt, for example, they've been making films there for almost 100 years.
I think cinema, we have the responsibility, particularly if we can restore the older films of cultures that we haven't been seeing in the Western world.
And another recent film to emerge from Palestine is Najwa Najjar's Pomegranates and Myrrh.
Najwa's film, tells a story of this woman caught between feelings for her dance instructor, but also her feelings for her husband who's been imprisoned by the Israelis.
زيد شوف حالك كيف صرت جلدة على عظمي. فكر فينا، فكر بالأرض اللي ضلت.
بصراحة المدعشة.
There's no reason why people should lose their homes, and you need to live with dignity. I mean, simply, it's not just living, it's living with dignity, and you can only do that on your land.
It's a refreshing take on the Palestinian-Israeli conflict. She really does try and humanize it. We are seeing now across the Arab world, I think, a whole generation of young filmmakers emerging. There's still a long way to go, but seeing beginnings of a genuine movement towards there being a pan-Arab film industry, and that can only be good for Arabic society in general, and also the West understanding of the Arab world.
That's it for this Fabulous Picture Show special on the Doha Tribeca Film Festival. All that's left is to invite you to join us here in Doha, Qatar between October 29 and November 1st. You're going to meet some great people, see some terrific films, but if you can't be here, check out all the action on DohaTribecaFilm.com. See you next time.
Bond, James Bond.
I am your father.
I see dead people.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
Say hello to my little friend. Sorry.
In that vault, that rescue dog, I like that story.
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
After all, tomorrow is another day.
You can't handle the truth.
I am the king of the world. Wax on, wax off.
Show me no money!
You talking to me?
I don't know. I don't know.
Here's looking at you, kid.
May the force be with you.
Yo, Adrian! Okay, just cut. I don't know.
I'll be back.